a bit of buying emerging from both domestic and FIs of late. Again, in today's trade, the sense I'm getting is that there is a bit of buying in the PSU bank stock. So that's one space which is well bid, and rightly so, because they've relatively outperformed in terms of earnings this quarter compared to the private bank names. For the August series, of course, earnings is going to be a big trigger to watch out for. But also mid of August, you're going to see the big MSCI rebalancing, which will have a big impact in terms of HDFC Bank and overall on the India as well. So that's going to add to a bit of buying interest from larger FIs. But the other big trend which is going to emerge, we've already started seeing some signs of it, is the promoter piece stake sale as and when the earnings get over. We've already seen few deals got done, and the feedback is there is a very strong pipeline which is going to come as and when we see the earnings getting over. So some big companies are going to see large block deals very soon.
Okay, all right. So you've teased us a little bit. Let's get to some of those stocks that you're tracking. Let's get stock specific.
Well, so in terms of individual names, the first stock is Adani Energy. It's again back into my chatter list. I spoke about the possibility of the fundraising few days back. Now it looks like it's round the corner. So a large QIP is in the offering. Company is likely to raise between 6,000 to 7,000 crores by QIP very soon. That is Adani Energy Solutions. That's the first name. The second stock is IRB Infra. Well, the stock has been consolidating ever since some of the promoter entities sold stake in the last few weeks. But now I understand that the street is anticipating a large order win as well for the company very soon. Also, there is a buzz that there could be another large block in IRB Infra very soon. The third name is a couple of cash stocks where there is a bit of buying interest from larger FIs. So Dodla Dairy and Jindal Saw both stand out largely on back of buy flows at FIs. So expect high delivery volumes in both these names today. And the last is Kotak Mahindra Bank. Well, the street has been a bit positive about Kotak Mahindra Bank, and there's a bit of chatter with regards to the RBI approval as well. But again, from a flow perspective, there is selling pressure. And again, in today's market, there are sell flows at a leading FI desk in Kotak Mahindra Bank.
Okay, got it. Thanks very much, Nimesh, for that. So that's the chatter. Market's very quiet, very flat. Nifty Bank, Nifty, not moving at all. Let's figure out what the final trades could be like for today. We have Mitesh back with us. Mitesh, so what do you make of all of the volatility and the choppiness? Final calls now?
Yeah. I think, one doesn't look good in the short term in the sense that, failing around this major level where we also have call open interest means that there could be 2-3 days of consolidation. So maybe the upside momentum will see a halt with today's this thing. But I'm not very negative, so I still like the refinery sector per se. So BPCL is a BTST with a stop at 334 and a target of 343, and IOC is the other one. That's a BTST with a stop at 178.5 and a target of 184.
Okay, let's get to the big earnings that we're anticipating later in the evening. One of them is Colgate. Mangalam joins in with the expectations. Mangalam.
Well, there's been good momentum behind the Colgate stock, and that's largely ever since, the leadership of the company has changed. So the stock is up nearly 70% in the last 1 year, trading at around 58 times, and the street expects continued results momentum for the company as well. This time around, we're looking at high single-digit revenue growth, close to around 8%. The number you're expecting on the top line is close to around 1,430 crores, and the EBITDA grows by about 12.5%, implying a margin improvement of nearly 150 basis points. 31.6% turns into 33%, and as a result of which the net profit too grows at around 21%. So three numbers to watch: 8% on the top line, 12.5% on the EBITDA, and net profit growth of 21% is what the street is anticipating. 2 to 3% volume growth led by 6% price and premiumization growth as well. Rural contributes about 40% to Colgate's overall revenue. So recovery in rural is extremely crucial to track and will be one of the bigger beneficiaries once rural demand comes back. Ad spends are between 13.5 to 14% of the sales, and the company has been leveraging some of those ad spends for their new product launches as well. Most important this time around will not be the toothpaste business, but a small part, which is Palmolive. They've had a full range launch, so performance of that will be extremely crucial as well, because the managements are guided for Palmolive to grow at twice the pace of Colgate itself.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Now let's get you a big corporate, exclusive conversation. We're talking about Sanjeev Goenka, chairman of RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. He chatted with Shireen Pan earlier, and he said that they are going to set up 3 gigawatts of renewables in the next 2 years. He also went on to say in his conversation that he anticipates a break-even in the FMCG business in the next 2 years.
But let's now talk about CESC, both in terms of demand at this point in time. What's the outlook? And if we can get an update from you on what's happening as far as Noida is concerned, what's happening with the Dhariwal and the Haldia IPP as well.
So that's again another space that's going well. So we are investing not only in distribution, but we are investing in generation as well. So right now, over the next 2 years, we are going to set up 3 gigawatts of renewables, which is hybrid between solar and wind. The projects are under execution right now. And this will go into our distribution networks in Calcutta, in Noida, in Rajasthan, in Maharashtra. So we will take them across our distribution networks. And so they're profitable, they're green, they're forward-looking, and they're margin enhancing. So it really works across all parameters. And it's something that we are very excited about. So this is the beginning in the green energy sector. 3 gigawatts to begin with, ultimately going up to 10.
Okay.
And we are looking actively at hydrogen electrolyzers.
In terms of capacity addition, as far as CESC is concerned, what should we expect between now and the 5-year target?
So 3 gigawatts over the next 2 years. I think another 2 in 2 years thereafter, and another 5 in 2 years thereafter. So in 6 years, about 10 gigawatts.
And the kind of investments that it would entail?
So it would be about 70,000 crores.
Let's talk about FMCG and the plan as far as FMCG is concerned. Where do you get confidence from on what is working for you on the FMCG side? And again, both in terms of investments, in terms of new forays, what is the plan at this point?
So the snacking part, the better for you snacking, is actually beginning to work. And we are now at about a 600 crore beat rate annually, which is going up every month. And at this level, we are beginning to see the losses coming down sharply.
Okay.
We don't yet make profits. We're not expected to make profits at this level. But we can see now the path to 1,000 crores, which is where we start to break even. So that foray is actually working well.
But when do you anticipate a break even for the FMCG business?
I think another 2 years.
And what kind of investments are we still talking about? Are you continuing to make investments?
You will look, yeah, we will continue to make investments. The losses now would be about 200 crores a year as opposed to 350. So that's a significant reduction. And there will be investments in capacity and products. But overall, I think it's something that's trending very well.
Finally, let me ask you about the ambition on the sports side. And we've, of course, been seeing you on television in the dugout as well, Mr. Goenka. But, how has that bet panned out for you? And more importantly, are you willing to take bigger bets from here on?
Well, it's something that's been very successful. We got the franchise for 7,000 crores. We are reading that Gujarat Titans is getting sold for 12,500 crores. I don't know whether it's true or not, but that's what we read. And if that is indeed the case, then in 2.5 years, 7,000 becoming 12,500 is not bad at all.
So would you look at monetizing this in your franchise in any way?
No.
No plans at this point in time.
All right, the IPL team is excluded from that. By the way, the Nifty Bank is completely flattened out. Remember when we started the show at 2:30, the Nifty Bank was up 200 points, and now it's just up close to about 30-odd points. So from the day's high, the Nifty Bank has given up more than about 1,000 points. Get into a break. We'll come back and chat more about the markets.
Welcome back. Well, the markets are as flat as can be, but plenty of action in the broader markets. A good time to get in Sudeep Bandyopadhyay. Hi, Sudeep. Good afternoon and good to see you again. I wanted to ask you about one of these FMCG names. In the last 10 minutes or so, Godrej Consumer that was trading actually in the red, it's now up close to 2%. So the intraday chart will tell you the picture. But what's the longer-term view on this stock?
Well, Nigel, I've been positive on this stock for quite some time. I think, the change of management, bringing in the new CEO, should have worked as a catalyst. It has taken a bit of time, but I think it's high time it starts performing well. As we know, they have a lot of international businesses. So, the impact of headwinds from international markets sometimes does affect their overall consolidated earnings. But as things are now, I think with good monsoon and rural recovery, we are positive on Godrej Consumers. And I think if somebody is looking at a 1 year kind of time horizon, they can definitely look at buying into Godrej Consumer. It hasn't kind of moved up the way some other FMCG companies have moved up. So for a long-term investor, it's a good buy, but one has to remember that it has got lot many legs other than only India also.
Okay, got that. That's Godrej Consumers. By the way, as we're getting into the final leg of trade, should just look at PSU stocks once again. And all of them are doing the usual jig. IRFC 7%, RVNL up 10%, Ircon 9.5%, Nirites is up 14%. So Railways has really come back with a bang in terms of just the trading action today. Even beyond Railways, look at something like NBCC 7.5%, Mazgaon Dock up 10%. Once again, a breathless kind of a move on most of these stocks on a day when the market's been a little volatile. Sudeep is with us. Sudeep, hi. You know the question. We've been asking you this question for many months now. What do you say when you just give these stocks a bit of a breather, a couple of days, they sit out, and then, daily moves can be so gravity defying. What's your advice, even from a trading point of view? Would you buy anything now?
Well, Surbhi, I've been looking like a fool on national television again and again. I've been saying that don't get into the defense stocks and the railway stocks. The valuation is too high, and they have been rising continuously. So I think people who didn't hear our advice did well. But having said that, I think I continue to maintain my view that valuation-wise, they are good companies. They are getting a lot of orders. The government has significant focus on defense make in India, as well as the railway. I think the amount of work happening in multiple areas of railways have never ever happened in India. So this is all good. And the order book is really, really full and bursting. But the problem is some of these orders, most of these orders take a lot of time in getting executed. There are challenges in execution also, and we have seen it time and again. So under the circumstances, the valuation definitely looks very rich. Unless you are in for very long, I think it's better to not buy at these levels. And now, if somebody is already an investor, is holding on to these shares, I think by all means continue to enjoy and continue to keep watching the counter. Because there may be, because the margin of error is very, very limited here. So be very careful if you're holding on to these shares, but keep enjoying. One stock I will mention, which came out with results also, BEL. I think that is one stock where, in spite of the valuation, in spite of the stock moving up from 100 to 300 over the last 2 years, I think I'm still bullish, and I would recommend buy for a long-term investor there even now, because of the fact that it has been fantastic execution from the company always, and even this quarter, the execution track record is fabulous. It's a defense electronics company, and the products of this company are used by Air, Army, Navy, all the three branches of defense. They're also getting into exports. So I think this is a company which has got many, many legs. And if somebody has to really take a bet on defense, I think defense electronics is the space to be in, and BEL is the space to be in.
Any other manufacturing related stock you would recommend buying at current levels if someone has a 2 or 3 year time horizon?
Well, I don't know whether you want to call it manufacturing, but in the power segment, NTPC has been my favorite, and it continues to remain my favorite. The traction and the dynamics in power industry has changed in a big way, and the demand is strong. The performance has been very good. Even the results announced, I think the PLF has moved up better than expected. the overall business momentum has been significant, and it has already a green energy company sitting inside the traditional NTPC. So while thermal is doing great business, the green energy is coming up very well, and at some point in time, value unlocking will definitely reward the shareholders handsomely.
We're talking about power, guys. Look at Voltamp. Voltamp is up 18%. That's a surge. Numbers came out, I think, in the middle of I think about an hour ago or so. And look at the reaction on that one. Top line, I think, is up some 30%. Profits are up 56%. Margins have gone up almost 300 basis points. And that is that's incredible. Stock's up 120% this year so far. And I think in the last 2.5 years, stock is up 10x. So from 1,400, stock's gone to 14,480. So that is the sort of compounding here, not compounding. Compounding kind of brings in usually you sort of imagine a slow, steady kind of a move every year. Not slow, steady, could be fast as well, but this is 10x in 2.5 years flat. So just something which you don't see very often, even in a market like this. So that's Voltamp for you. Do you track this one, Sudeep? Any thoughts?
Well, I think, Prashant, the entire power segment, you look at most of these companies, there has been amazing transformation. While moving up 10x in 2.5 years is really something which one has to take with a pinch of salt. But the reality is their order book is full. They are now in a situation where they are not able to supply and meet the demand. So that's the situation where they are in. And it's a fantastic position to be in for some of these companies who had suffered for a very, very long time. So yes, I do track, and I think it's a fantastic space to be in. I talked about NTPC. The entire power ecosystem is going through a major positive move, and I believe strongly that this is going to continue for the next 5-10 years. I think power has reached every nook and corner of the country. The use of power has increased. The demand of power is soaring, and the transition of green energy is giving an incremental opportunity for some of these component suppliers.
Okay, all right, Sudeep, indeed. Quite a bit of a move in some of these names, and Voltamp is taking the cake today with that move. Just stay on. We'll do the market trap and come back to you for a longer conversation on markets forward. But for the time being, we're looking at a green screen where the headline is that we couldn't do 25,000 today on the Nifty, but the mid-cap market is alive and kicking and actually completely thriving. To start off with the Nifty, the reason things flattened out is because the banking surge didn't last. The bank Nifty is also quite flat. Having said that, gainers of the day include Divi's Laboratories, about 3% higher, BPCL 3%, L&T had a good session. SBI managed to buck that trend. I mean, most of the other banks flattened out, but IndusInd Bank and SBI, they're still closing out in positive. The others, HDFC Bank, for instance, down about 1%. ICICI Bank lost a lot of the momentum. It was up 3% in the morning, but the closing rates are close to just about 0.3% on the higher side. Reliance managed to close out in positive, about 0.6% up. You have stocks like Shriram Finance holding out with some gains. The profit booking side was basically IT and select consumer stocks. So Titan down 2%, ITC down 1.5%. And then beyond banks, of course, some of the IT names that didn't do quite well. Bell's gone, but Prashant, more about the mid-cap market once again today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, very, very strong moves across many of these names. So you mentioned the railway names, RVNL, IRFC, RITES, the banking ones, Bandhan, PNB, but there were also City Union Bank, Karnataka Bank, which did very well. I mentioned Voltamp, but you had Mazgaon Dock, which was a sharp mover, higher 10%. There was KNR Construction, which was a very big mover. Keynes, which reported numbers with the management with us. NBCC did very well today. You had some of these consumer names, Rupa, Liberty Shoes, saw very big moves. Some of these wealth management companies coming through. So Novama, which reported numbers, Super Performance, 361 did very well. And then you had names like EID, Parry, CAMS. I could go on, but you get an idea about the broader market strength that we had today. Market breadth really strong once again, with about 1,600 stocks higher and about 1,100 stocks which were lower. So not completely one way, not very, very one-sided, but comfortably in the green as far as market breadth is concerned. We'll take your leave. It's a wrap on this edition of Closing Bell. Markets Forward comes up next in just a bit. Stay with us.